What's up everyone, I am a random that you don't care about and I'm going to tier list some games that you don't care about. Okay, the classifications for a game being put on here is if I've played it enough, if it doesn't have an ending, or if I've reached an ending if it does have an ending. Yeah, so continue with the actual video now. Starting with Archvale. This is a pretty fun game, it gets a B tier. Then we have Bow Knight. This is just a basic high score game, but it's pretty fun and I have some high scores in it, so I'm biased. I'm going to give it a good rating. Next we have Blade and Sorcery Nomad. This is a pretty fun VR game where you kind of just kill a ton of stuff. Also there's mods in the game which makes it very fun to just mess around with guns in this medieval game. B tier. Now we have Bug Fables. Now this is my favourite game, I'd say. And, as you can probably see in the bottom left corner or here if you're not looking at the video, I've started playing music for it. Every single time I put a game in S, I put a piece of the soundtrack in the video. The reason Bug Fables The Everlasting Chaplain is my favourite game is because it is an RPG game, which is not grindy at all, which is the major flaw of those types of games. It also has great gameplay with the gimmick of timing attacks, and the story is pretty good. Ton of replayability with the hidden difficulties. It's just a really good game. So next up we have Deer Simulator, and this game is definitely experience to play. If you play it, then you're gonna be surprised on what it does. It's completely wild. Anyways, next up we have Dicey Dungeons. This is a game which is very luck-based, but they've managed to take a game which would normally be really frustrating to play and make it pretty good. Well, no, very good. Next up, Fall Guys, A tier, very fun with friends, and Floppy Nights, S tier. Very fun game, very good, love the soundtrack, and you're going to be hearing it for not that long because there's a game in S. Next up we have Fortnite. I hate playing Fortnite, I hate Dying to Sweat, because I suck at the game really badly. Next up we have Garden Story, which gets a S tier placement. Well, not S tier, B tier. Why am I so dumb? Anyways, next up is Gun Raiders. This game here has been on my channel for quite a while, and that's why it's going in high A. Next up we have Mad Rat Dead, and this is going to go in mid-S tier. This is a very fun game, which is a platformer mixed with a rhythm game, and well, let's just say I got this game 8 days ago, and I'm about to go and complete every level with the highest rank. It's very good. So next up we have Mario and Sonic at the Olympics 2012. Now on screen this is the DS cover because I couldn't find the Wii cover, but this is the Wii game I'm going to rank, and it goes into high C tier. Because this game is very fun. I may or may not be incredibly biased because this was my childhood, and the mustard and ketchup robots are incredible. Best minigame in any single game, by far, no doubt. Next up we have Mario Kart 8, and this game is not Mario Kart Wii, it's going in D tier. Next up we have Mario Kart Wii. This game is also my childhood, but even though this isn't actually part of the game, I'm going to include CTGP, the unofficial mod to the game which allows you to play online actually, so today. And also has a ton of tracks included with it, so that's why it goes in S. Without CTGP, it'd probably still be S, but lower down. And you're going to be hearing some of the soundtrack as well, because it's in S. Next up, we have Super Mario Odyssey, which gets a high C tier. This is a pretty fun game. I've not played it in a while because you kind of have to play the game often or else you lose all your skills. And if you play part of the game, stop playing, come back, it's terrible because I did that, and I just failed to do anything because I suck at games. Next up we have Mario Party 10. This game here is severely underrated in my opinion, and I'm going to put it right here. Mario Party 9 is next, and it's pretty much the same game. Well, same style of game. Games differ enough for it to be better, be enough of a sequel, unlike FIFA. Next up we have Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which goes straight into F. I don't know why I still keep this. £5 is way too much for this game, and it was sold for 50, I think. Anyway, next game, Minecraft. This is a game that a ton of people love, and that's why I'm going to put in B tier. Now, we have New Soup U. New Soup U, very good game. Going in C tier. I completed it through using the secret exits, making it 19 levels long, I'm pretty sure. But it was still very enjoyable during those 19 levels. Next up we have New Soup Wii. New Soup Wii is pretty much better than New Soup U, and it goes into S tier. No, not S tier, A tier. Next up we have Nobody Saves the World. Now this game here was played right after Bug Fables, and Bug Fables gave me way too good of something for this game, because originally I would put this at like low B, but it's a really fun game. It's, if I can get the placement right again, it's a 2D game which you go and play a ton of different characters, and you basically just go and kill a ton of stuff. It's very fun, and it's got a ton of bad jokes in it, and that's kind of like me. Next up we have One Step from Eden. This game here very fun. I'm putting it right under Gear Simulator. It said it was going to go off Game Pass right after I started playing it, and I wanted to finish the game, so I had a mad dash to finish it, and I managed to beat the game, well, get one ending in the game, with 5 hours left. Next up we have Overwatch 2, and this game gets a low B. Now just place it there. The campaign is very good with friends. Me and my friends played it a ton. Normal game is it's pretty good shooter game. However, it's not as good in Garden Warfare 2, which you're gonna see very soon. And Overwatch 1 is way better, because it was really fun playing without roll queue and 6 people. Next up, Plants vs Zombies 2. This is PvZ 1, but it's better in my opinion, slightly, but better. And that's probably going to get me put on a list for a ton of PvZ 1 fans. Next up we have PvZ 1, and that gets lower down. I should probably put these up. But I'm putting these up. These do not deserve to be that low. I was mistaking this list. Next up we have Garden Warfare 2. Second favorite game. Spoilers, by the way. This game I've had on my channel for years, and it's not going to stop. Even though the game has stopped getting updates for the past 3 years, and no one plays it, and the servers are going to absolute shit, I'm still going to play it. It's still a masterpiece of a game. Next up we have Pokemon Scarlet, B tier, high B tier. Next up we have Pokemon Sword, which says slightly higher B tier. Psychonauts 2. This game here is an incredibly fun platforming game, which I may or may not have spent hours watching up to 4 AM one night, watching analysis on all the characters, because man, the characters are very deep, almost as deep as Mario and French. Now we have the original Psychonauts, which lacks quite a bit of polish, but it's still a very good game, so I'd give it mid B. So next up we have Splatoon. Now this goes in high B. This is a very fun game with riveting gameplay. I should be showing a specific GIF right now, hopefully. As for me, don't slack off on this part. But it's a very fun game. It's a unique take on a PvP game, and it does well with it. Splatoon 3 would be here, but the image glitched on the tier list. Splatoon 3 would be slightly lower down than the original Splatoon. So now we have 3D World. 3D World's a game that I am very close to 100%ing, and it might be the first game I 100%, which is why it's going in low A tier. Because it's still a platformer, and I'm not that big of a fan of platformers. They're still pretty good, but I prefer mindless grinding games called RPGs. No, actually, this Bugtail was not mindless grinding. But yeah, I prefer RPGs because I'm someone who only likes fighting because I'm a boy and a teenager and addicted to video games. Now, we have Mario Maker 2. So next up we have Superliminal. This is a puzzle game which has a lot of gimmicks. Main one being it uses perspective. If you go and grab an object and move it away from you, it gets bigger. Move it towards you, it gets closer. And it's very fun to play. Next we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, other than this being the reason I absolutely hate Final Fantasy and Xenoblade, because those characters because Shulk and Sephiroth are overused, and I hate playing against them. Main Green Brawler, especially Shulk, because it's just fair with Smash Bros. Off stage, and you can't do anything about it. But that's enough of the Mean Brawler brand. Yeah, pretty fun game. Love Kirby mains. Next up we have Terraria. A lot of people put this game about here compared to Minecraft. I'm shoving it in S tier, which is why you're here in Boss Team 1. I think I'm not sure what I'm putting in this. I don't know either, to be. He's in the future. But very fun game, tons of content, tons of replayability, tons of updates. I'll just let this game die. They keep reviving it with updates. 1.4.6 I think is now or about to be out. This game's never going to die. So next up we have The Big Con. Now The Big Con is a very fun game where basically you do a lot of theft and steal from people. Very fun game, good soundtrack as well a ton of the games in S and A tier have. So next we have The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, which I'm putting in C tier because they've pretty much mastered survival series. They're still in C tier because survival horror games suck. It's resource management, which I hate. You have to go and make sure you don't use too much here, but if you don't use enough, then it's going to take way too long to do an encounter, which is a very good game. So put in Part 2 below Part 1, because Part 2 just drags on far too long. However, it's still pretty good. Now, we have Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. This game here is going in the bottom of B tier, but still very good. And it's also very goofy. Next up we have Virus Ball for VR. Now, this is going here. And this is a game which I've got the high score on 5 out of the 7 stages. If I get 7 out of the 7 stages, if I finally get around to doing the last 2, then I will be making a YouTube video, a YouTube short of me saying I'm the best person at this game. So next up we have Wii Sports Resort. And this game here is nostalgia. Great games, great mini games, incredible game with friends or family or your uncle who loves the bowling mini game. Next up you have Zenith The Last City. Now this game here is pretty buggy, so it goes in C tier, but it's still very fun, and I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because every single game in VR is buggy. Because Oculus Quest 2 is the most underpowered system you could imagine. Like you take Oculus Quest 2 power, put it into a console, people will call it the epitome of shit. Next up we have McPixel 3. Now this is a game, I think it's called a puzzle game. It calls itself a puzzle game. And it's very fun, a lot of gags, and you'll play it, you'll think it's nothing special, but it's pretty good. Why am I putting it in S? 4-2. If you're never going to play it, look it up because it will spoil a part of the game, even though the story is not very important. But my god, They went so hard in 4-2 that it showed. I don't understand how they managed to do all that, but they did it, and it is incredible. So now we have two more games. Lost in Random. This game here is an EA game which surprisingly feels like it has a soul. Just a problem with the main gameplay, fighting part, is very repetitive, unfortunately, because they only have 4 enemy types, and they just go and remake them with higher health or immunity to some types of moves, which kind of gets pretty sucky after a while. And finally, we have Undertale, which gets a high A tier because I don't need to explain Undertale. Everyone on planet Earth has probably heard Undertale as a game, which is very surprising if you haven't played it before. If you haven't, or play it now, la di da da. Yeah, so this is my final list. Then you can go and screenshot this. If you want to do this tier list, there'll be a link in the description for you to do this. This has been Random Guy, tier list from Random Games. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Have a nice day, and goodbye.